Gen Z, more than any other generation in history in America, I believe, is going to have the biggest gap both in culture and in wealth. Let me tell you what I mean. You're probably thinking, nah, it's not that bad, right? I think so. And here's what I mean by it. The other day, I went to YouTube. I went to a guest profile because I was trying to figure out what my YouTube channel looked like from kind of an outside perspective. So I go to this blank YouTube account on a guest profile and I type in my channel and I find it and I do the same thing with Instagram and I'm seeing things. I'm like, all right, what's attractive here? What it's gonna get people to click? Trying to figure that out. And so when I'm done with that, I go back to the YouTube homepage and I'm on there. I'm scrolling and just out of curiosity, I'm seeing what is the algorithm trying to show for me, because there's no algorithm developed. There's no videos. It's just going to show me the most popular videos that are getting made by biggest creators and most popular videos. And so the things like Mr. Beast and Jordan Matter and Darman and whatever, biggest YouTube Shorts creators. So I click on a YouTube short and it shows me Brooke Monk. Now, I've never seen Brooke Monk before in my life. I know who she is vaguely. I think she's like a makeup influencer or something like that for girls. But I'm watching this video, and the video is her, presumably, I guess, with her boyfriend. And they're sitting there eating Pringles, and one of the Pringles has wasabi on them, and they're eating enough Pringles until they get one with the wasabi. And wasabi is, oh yeah, ha ha ha, it's hot. Oh, burn your mouth. Okay. It's that for like 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And this video got millions and millions of views and thousands of comments on there. And I'm scrolling through the comments and I'm gonna bet that most of these comments are bots. And I think the algorithm does that. And not just the algorithm, but what I call the matrix does that to make you think that these people are real. To make you think that this is truly what people are watching, what culture is doing. Because if it didn't, these things truly would not take off. And I see these things seep into real life. So you think, oh yeah, that's not real. A few years ago, everybody was making fun of Darman because who on earth would watch that? Who in their right mind would watch that? It's the worst written plots, poorly done, awful writing, the worst acting you've ever seen. But people watch it, and so people were making fun of that. They would clip in, oh yeah, this is so stupid, ha ha ha. But it got views and it created awareness around the brand. And people still watch him. 20 million views, 10 million views, 15 million views on awful videos multiple times a week. I think this generation, like I said, is going to have the biggest gap in what people are consuming. It's the first generation, Gen Z, that has grown up with the internet. Before, in the past, we had things like the Jerry Springer Show, and that was crap. And you could say in the late 90s, MTV created reality TV shows. And that was just awful. All of those shows are bad. Yeah, okay, but that's just the 90s. That wasn't that long ago. We're the first generation growing up with the internet. And in the past, MTV was one network, and so there was only a limited amount of videos and shows that they could produce. And so there was only a limited amount of content to consume. There was only one Jerry Springer show every whatever, like one episode every whatever. And so you had to consume that, but you had to wait for more. Now there's millions and millions of videos that get posted to YouTube every single day, and that's just YouTube, let alone TikTok. TikTok's probably the worst for consumerism. There's no gatekeeper on all this stuff. You can post whatever you want, and all of the content's bad for the most part. Most of it is just slop. And AI is going to make this even worse. And so you look at that and you think, we haven't even really seen the implications of what this is really going to do to society. We're just now seeing what it's doing. And so this is how they influence the culture. They influence the youth. This is how things like wokeism spreads. There's no objective truth in anything when everything's just chaos all the time, when everything's supposed to be gross and decrepit and perverted. I mean, you think of like the other year when Billie Eilish made her newest album. I remember that was blowing up because all the music videos were shot in this awfully grainy filter. Her wearing these super baggy clothes with ugly glasses and backwards hat and purposely trying to make herself look ugly. There's been this beauty that's wanted to be created in ugliness. There's no unity in anything. There's no beauty and the things you can look at. There's no objective truth in this, and this is how they do this. This is how they break down the objective truth. Is if there's no universally recognized beauty, there's nothing that you can look at and say, oh yeah, that's good. Like that's what becomes beauty is. There's no unity and there's no objective quality in it. So they can do whatever. They can influence you in whatever way when there's no unity in what people are looking at. There's no objective truth. If truth is completely subjective, they can influence anything, and they can influence these kids in the mediums of YouTube Kids. And all of the algorithms that are purporting this content to young teenage girls of the Brooke Monk videos. Oh yeah, she's a makeup like beauty influencer. Except she's making these videos that are just slop. Just to go viral. Because the algorithm likes it. You know, you could say Mr. Beast is inherently a bad guy, but he's making these videos that are awful. People hate on people like Andrew Tate, but then you look at someone like Zacharific. I know he's another guy that's really big. I cannot stand that guy. He's worse when you take the arguments of what Andrew Tate, the people that don't like Andrew Tate, if you take the arguments of what they say, oh yeah, he's demeaning to women, oh yeah, he's this, he's that. If you take that and apply it to Zacharific, Zacharific is reported by the media and the mainstream as this funny guy. Oh yeah, he's funny. He's a comedian. So we therefore laugh at him and we consume him passively. But what you're passively consuming is that most of his jokes are around the girls he's getting with. Oh yeah, him and Sydney Sweeney. Oh yeah. He's objectifying the females that he's trying to get around. He originally blew up from that one ring girl from the Mike Tyson fight. And that was an objectified relationship. It's an objectified beauty thing. That's more harmful to society than what Andrew Tate's saying. People don't understand why they don't like Andrew Tate. People don't understand why they don't like all the figures they don't like, because they passively consume, and this is the media tells them one thing and they don't even understand what the objective truth is, because there is no objective truth. It's all subjective. There's nothing to lean on. There's nothing to say and compare it to. They just take it as what it is. So this is extremely dangerous, and we still haven't seen the full implications of what this is going to do to society. We're seeing a big gap starting to grow in the consumer-based society. You see more people join TikTok and watching that for hours and hours on end, scrolling for hours and hours on end, consuming all of this. McDonald's, Labubu's, getting Labubu's when those are popular, and saying 6'7" because they don't want to be excluded from the joke. There's no reason for you to say 6'7". There's no reason and humor in it, but people said it. It spread like wildfire. There's no objective truth in what's funny. There's no objective truth in what's beautiful. And then they can influence you this way. When they can say whatever goes, anything can be true. This is how they're going to affect us. And so I want to be able to strike back against this. I want to be able to influence this on the counter aspect of it. How am I going to influence the kids that are on YouTube Kids? How am I going to influence the content that's getting pushed towards them? Because once they've already been infiltrated and already been poisoned by that, by the time that they're age 9 and 10, coming into young adolescence, their mind's already corrupted. Their mind's already been poisoned. They've already been told what to think. They don't have any capability for thinking anything different. People like Charlie Kirk in the past were extremely effective on the college campuses because at least we didn't grow up on YouTube Kids. At least our minds weren't already corrupt by the age of 15. They still had a little bit of reasoning. They still had the little bit of ability to think. Now you're perverted and you're poisoned from the age of 5 onward, even younger for some kids, infancy. How are we going to affect those kids? I need to figure that out. That's a question I don't truly have the answer to, of how we're going to affect even the most youngest generations, but it's something that's going to need to happen. The church needs to step in and do something about this. It sickens me. It truly is why I was put on this earth. It's the driving force behind what I do. How am I going to influence culture? How am I going to influence society to have the inverse effect of this? How are we going to make sure that, because we're not going to be able to save everybody. I'm not going to be able to pull everybody off of TikTok. I'm not going to be able to pull everybody off the YouTube Shorts algorithm and get them to stop watching these contents and get them to stop being influenced with these things. But while there's still time left, we can still influence people to join the other gap, because the gap's being created. There is no real in between. It's a complete divide. You've got the guys like me that were, they grew up with the internet. Most people in Gen Z, they grew up with the internet, and what they were consuming was subjective. I started consuming things at the age of 10, 11. I was watching Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro. I don't watch Ben Shapiro anymore, but I grew up with him. And that led me into bigger and things. And like I've talked about, age 10, 14, I got exposed to Gaji, and I started watching his videos and seeing what entrepreneurship was. And it gave me the first taste of what I wanted to do with things. And I did that. And now I'm building an online business. And there's tons and thousands of people like me. There's also millions of people that are on the other side of that are consuming, that are watching TikTok all day, that are being influenced by the woke culture of no objective truth in society, and they have no idea what to believe. How are we going to affect this, guys? How are we going to do this? So, like I said, it's a question I still don't have the answer to, but that's what we're going to figure out. Which part of the society are you going to be on? Which part of the gap are you going to be on? Are you going to be on the side making online business, growing wealth, growing in intelligence? Because all the intelligence, all the known knowledge in the world is on the internet, completely for free. Are you going to use that to watch Instagram content, or are you going to use that to learn as much as possible and then get off the internet and then do more things and build a business? What are you going to do? This is a pivotal point in society, pivotal point in the culture. Which part of the culture are you going to join? Are you going to join the ones growing wealth and intelligence and trying to build a conservative Christian society, or are you going to join nothingness? Choice is up to you. It's huge. It's a big one. So make sure that all of your choices and all the daily actions that you're taking are lining up to this higher purpose, this higher society, because it matters. We have to save these people on the other side. So like I said, think about this. When you click a YouTube video, when you're just relaxing, you're chilling out, oh, I'm done working, I'm done doing school for the day. When you go to consume content, think about what you're consuming. Why do they want me to consume this? Why do they want this lifestyle purported? How are they influencing me here? How are they getting me? Where? Because you're getting screwed somewhere. Where am I getting screwed at? You got to be aware of these things, because they're going to influence it. And Satan works fast, and he works hard, and he never stops. So you have to do the exact same. All of your actions, all of your daily behaviors have to line up with this. It can't be I work really hard these days, but then I go out and I party on Friday and Saturday nights. No, that's not in line with the main goal. That's not in line with being able to influence the culture. If you really care about these things, you would be fully and totally set on doing everything in your power to influence it in the other way. Because if not, we completely lose. And if we're not going to, like I said, we're not going to be able to fully save everybody. We're not going to be able to completely flip the culture. But I don't really think we're supposed to. Revelation ends with the end of the world. And the end of the world isn't going to happen because everything gets good. It's going to end because it gets bad. And so that's not going to be the goal. But in the process, you do need to save as many people as you can along the way. So that's my goal. How can we get as many people to see the truth as possible? It doesn't have to be everybody, because it's not going to be. And sad as that is, it's not going to be. How are we going to be most effective in the meantime, though? So I just want to make sure that that's getting out there, and that you can maybe think about that and think, how are the decisions I'm making, how are the things I'm choosing to consume, how is that is going to result in the end? How is that going to make a difference? What decisions am I making today that are going to lead to the outcomes tomorrow? Think about those things. Hold yourself accountable to them, because they really matter. We're at a huge point in history with this. Huge point in the culture war. Think about it. That's what I wanted to challenge you with. And I appreciate you watching the full video if you watched all the way to the end. And see you soon. Bye-bye.